Big update, everyone. If you've been waiting and wondering about what's happening with Australian visas, October 2025 is the month you need to circle on your calendar. Just confirmed 7 major changes are coming, and these are not small tweaks. We're talking about updates that could completely reshape the way people apply for, qualify for, and even hold their visas in Australia. Now, I know what you're thinking, 7 changes sounds like a lot. And you're right, some of these updates are exciting and might actually open new doors for skilled workers, students, and families. But a couple of them? They're tough, and if you're not prepared, they could throw your plans off track completely. That's why this video is so important. We're going to break it all down in simple, clear language so you don't miss a single detail. Think about it, whether you're planning to apply for a student visa, dreaming about permanent residency, or even helping a family member join you in Australia, these October changes will affect you. Missing even one piece of information could mean delays, higher costs, or worse, having your application rejected. So stick with me, because in just a moment, we're diving into each of these 7 updates one by one. You're going to know exactly what's changing, what it means for you, and how to prepare. But before we jump in, do me a quick favor, smash that like button right now. Alright, let's dive straight into the details because October 2025 is shaping up to be a turning point for Australian immigration. For years, we've been hearing about backlogs, processing delays, and the government struggling to balance the demand for visas with the realities of the job market and population growth. Now, these 7 changes are the government's answer to that challenge. And make no mistake, if you're planning to apply, or if you already hold a visa, what I'm about to explain could directly impact your future in Australia. The first thing you'll notice is that these changes are designed to target skilled migration more directly. Australia has always needed skilled workers, but recently there's been pressure on the healthcare system, construction industry, and technology sectors. So instead of just keeping the system broad and open, the government is tightening requirements in some areas while opening new pathways in others. This is where it gets interesting. For some of you, these changes could actually make things easier, especially if your skills are in demand. But for others, the process may feel tougher, with higher requirements and stricter conditions. Now, let's talk about why this is happening in October. The Australian government tends to align major immigration changes with budget announcements and migration planning levels. October is when the new fiscal policies start to take real shape, so this is their way of sending a clear message. The rules for who gets to stay, work, and build a life in Australia are evolving, and they want applicants to adjust quickly. If you're not paying attention right now, you could walk into 2026 completely unprepared. For example, one of the big shifts is around the skilled occupation list. This list decides which jobs Australia considers essential enough to fast-track or prioritise. In the past, this list was fairly broad, but the government has hinted that in October, the list will be narrowed and updated to reflect current shortages. That means some occupations may disappear overnight, while others may suddenly become highly in demand. Imagine planning for years to apply as an accountant or a cook, only to find out that your occupation has been removed from the list. That's the reality for many applicants each time these updates roll out. On the flip side, if your skill set matches something like nursing, aged care, or engineering, you might find that your chances of approval just went up significantly. But it doesn't stop there. Another major update focuses on student visas, and this one will affect thousands of international students currently studying or hoping to study in Australia. For years, Australia has been one of the top destinations for higher education, but concerns about student visa misuse have been growing. Some people applied not really for education, but as a backdoor into residency. The government knows this, and October's changes are cracking down hard. Expect stricter English language requirements, more financial checks to prove you can support yourself, and tougher rules about work hours while studying. For genuine students, this might feel like extra red tape, but the government insists it's about keeping the system fair and credible. Now, I know many of you are wondering about permanent residency, or PR. The dream for so many migrants is to secure PR status and eventually citizenship. And here's where one of the most sensitive updates comes in. October's changes include a shift in how points are calculated for PR applications. For those unfamiliar, the points system is how Australia ranks applicants. Things like your age, work experience, English ability, and education all add up. This month, several categories are being reshuffled. Younger applicants with high-demand skills will be favoured even more, while older applicants may see their points reduced. This is a tough pill to swallow, because it essentially prioritises fresh talent over experience. But from the government's perspective, it's about ensuring long-term economic contribution. If you're over 45 and planning to apply, October could be the month that determines whether your application remains viable or not. Family visas are also on the table. For a long time, family reunion has been one of the cornerstones of Australian migration, But with the housing crisis and cost of living pressures, the government is tightening certain categories. Partner visas will face longer scrutiny periods, with additional proof required to show that relationships are genuine. Parent visas, which have always been limited in numbers, may now face even higher application fees and longer wait times. It's not what families want to hear, but it reflects the government's ongoing struggle to balance compassion with the country's economic pressures. Of course, no update would be complete without talking about temporary work visas. Employers across Australia have been lobbying hard for easier access to overseas workers, especially in industries struggling to find local staff. The October updates respond to this by making the temporary skill shortage visa slightly more flexible but with strings attached. Employers will have to prove more rigorously that they cannot find local talent, and workers may face new obligations such as minimum pay thresholds or location restrictions. This is meant to stop exploitation but also ensure that migration aligns with real labor shortages. All of this paints a very clear picture. October 2025 is not about making migration easier or harder across the board. It's about reshaping the system to target very specific needs and goals. For some, this is a golden opportunity. If your profile matches what Australia is looking for, you could be in a stronger position than ever before. But for others, especially those who have been waiting years without updating their strategy, this could feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. So what should you do with this information? The first step is awareness. Do not wait until January or February next year to start researching these changes. By then, it may already be too late to adjust your application. Whether it's rechecking your occupation, improving your English test scores, or gathering more documentation, October is the wake-up call to get serious. Think of it this way: immigration is like a moving train. The rules change, the opportunities shift, and if you're not ready to jump on when the doors open, you may be left waiting years for another chance. I don't say this to scare you, I say it to remind you how competitive and time-sensitive the process has become. Every year, thousands of applications are rejected or delayed simply because people didn't act fast enough on new updates. Don't let yourself be one of them. As we continue through this video, I'll break down more details about each of the 7 confirmed changes, but I want you to really absorb the urgency here. Australia is making it clear they want migrants who are skilled, prepared, and aligned with the country's needs. If you fit that description, October 2025 could be your chance to step forward. But if you sit back and wait, you may find the door closed before you even knock.